This is the INTEX Ultra XTR Deluxe rectangular above ground swimming pool in the 32 feet by 16 feet size. It turned my backyard into a real swimming space where family and friends can actually swim, not just splash, and it has kept that experience going summer after summer. I see this as the bridge between a casual inflatable pool and a permanent in-ground build. It is best for families and anyone who hosts get-togethers and wants real room to swim laps, play games, and float without crashing into each other. If you are willing to prepare a flat area and do basic pool care, you get a serious pool experience without digging or dealing with contractors. The shape and materials matter more than the spec sheet. The rectangular body makes a huge difference for how it fits in a yard and how you use it. It gives you straight walls and real lanes for swimming, and it lines up with fences and patios in a way round pools just do not. The frame is coated steel that has held up better than I expected. The liner is a thick 3-layer polyvinyl chloride that still feels tough underfoot after several seasons. Outside, the graphite gray look blends in with the yard, and inside the blue tile pattern keeps the water looking bright. The included ladder is plastic. It works, but it feels wobbly for heavier adults, especially when wet. I replaced it with a sturdier in-pool ladder and felt much safer. The set also includes a sand filter pump and hoses, a cover, and a ground cloth. Those parts get you to the first swim, but a couple of small upgrades can make the experience smoother. I was nervous about setup the first time. The box showed up and it was heavy, close to 500 pounds. You will want extra hands just to move it. The easy lock frame system actually does click together without a bag of tiny fasteners, which is great. The real work is the ground. If you try to set it on lumpy grass, you will fight it forever. I leveled a wide area, placed 1-inch insulation foam boards under the liner for a smooth base, and set concrete pavers under each vertical leg. Those pavers stop the legs from sinking into the soil once all that water is in. That single decision has kept the pool straight through big storms and soaking weeks. With a properly prepared pad and 2 or 3 people, assembly went faster than I expected. Without a level base, it would have been a headache. Filling it is a commitment. You are looking at more than 14,000 gallons of water. Even with decent pressure, it takes hours. I watched the fittings like a hawk in the first hour, snugged a couple of hose clamps, and only then walked away. The included sand filter pump is what keeps the water clear. I started with the stock pump, which moves about 2,800 gallons per hour. For daily use with a few swimmers, that was fine. I later upgraded to a larger 24-inch sand filter with a 1.5 horsepower motor because I host a lot of big weekends. That upgrade pushed more water and cleared up party weekends faster. For most homeowners, the included pump gets the job done. Backwashing the sand filter is easy. You flip the valve, run it until the water in the sight glass clears and switch it back. I do that whenever the pressure rises on the gauge. In daily use, the pool feels like a permanent part of the yard. The structure is solid. The corners are stiff, and the long sides do not wobble when people are jumping in. The liner has not stretched in weird ways, and the walls stay straight. The water stays clear with routine care. I test chlorine and acidity levels with a simple kit, adjust with store-bought chemicals, and brush the walls every now and then. Once a week I empty the skimmer basket, and I vacuum the floor when I see debris. The noise from the pump is a soft hum. It sits on a pad near the pool and is not distracting during conversations. Durability was my biggest worry. 3 summers and 3 winters later, I am impressed. I do not take the pool down. At the end of the season, I drain the water below the skimmer line, blow out the hoses, and cover it. We have had freezing nights, heavy snow, and thick ice. The coated steel has not rusted, and the liner has not split. The color has faded a bit under constant sunlight, but the material still feels strong. I attribute a lot of this to leveling the base, supporting the legs on pavers, and not rushing the first build. Real-world moments sell this pool better than any brochure. I have had a dozen kids playing basketball on floating hoops without the water turning into a cloudy mess by the next morning. I have hosted adults who like to actually swim. That straight rectangular run lets you do short laps on a quiet morning without fighting the curve of a round wall. My dog has brushed it a few times chasing balls. No issues. Family birthdays have turned into pool days. People spread out on floats while a couple of us tread water or kick across the long side, and no one feels crowded. One use case that surprised me is early morning exercise. I am not a hardcore swimmer, but 10 to 15 minutes of steady laps along the long side is a great wake-up. The rectangular shape makes that possible. You push off, glide straight, and turn on a defined corner. Another is evening cool-downs. The pump hums quietly, the lights on the patio come on, and the water is still clean because the sand filter and chlorine routine have done their job. Even after a weekend with lots of sunscreen and grass clippings, a quick backwash and a vacuum pass bring it back by the next day. Some small details add up over time. The foam board under the liner is a win. Walking on it feels like a smooth gym mat instead of lumpy ground, and it shields the liner from sharp gravel you did not know was there. The pavers under the legs are non-negotiable for me. Without them, legs can sink after a heavy rain and throw off the level. The rectangular footprint wastes less yard space than a big circle. It lines up with a deck easily, which makes getting in and out safer, especially with a better ladder. The included cover is good enough for day-to-day use. For winter, a dedicated winter cover with a cable and a few water bags around the edge gave me more peace of mind. There are a few trade-offs. Setup is real work unless your yard is already perfectly flat. Filling the pool takes patience and a lot of water. The included ladder is fine for kids, but it feels flimsy for regular adult use. If you have small children, you will want a gate or a locking solution on the ladder for safety. If your soil is soft, you need those pavers under the legs, or you will chase level issues all season. Sun fade is inevitable. Mine looks slightly lighter now, but it still looks clean and modern. What stands out most is how easy the routine becomes once you get through the first weekend. The pump schedule goes on a timer. Testing chlorine and acidity takes a couple of minutes. Backwashing takes a couple more. Skimming leaves becomes a quick habit. All that is far less time than the hours we actually spend swimming. That is the payoff. You get a huge, usable pool with real space, and you do not have to tear up the yard with concrete work. A quick note on sound and neighbors. The pump does not have a sharp whine. It is a steady, low hum. I can sit near it and carry a conversation without raising my voice. At night, I set it on a schedule so it runs when it does not disturb anyone who likes absolute quiet. It has never been an issue during dinners or movie nights on the patio. If you are thinking about this pool, picture your yard with a clean rectangle of water that you actually use. If you can commit a day or two to leveling and laying a smooth base, and you are comfortable checking water chemistry once or twice a week, this feels like a long-term upgrade. It is durable. It looks good. It gives you a real swimming experience at home. Get a better ladder if adults will be climbing in and out a lot. Put pavers under the legs. Add foam under the liner if your ground is rough. Do those things, and it rewards you every summer. I would recommend the INTEX Ultra XTR Deluxe Rectangular above ground pool in the 32 feet by 16 feet size to families and hosts who want real space without committing to a permanent build. If you want lap-like swimming in a backyard pool, if you want room for floating and for games at the same time, and if you appreciate a setup that can stay up through winter, this checks those boxes. The setup is effort, but the payoff is a backyard centerpiece that keeps delivering. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to the channel and leave your questions or your experience in the comments. Thank you for watching.